This past weekend, one of my biggest hobbies took center stage. I've really gotten into pirate reenacting and absolutely love it. My brother and I planned a pirate camping weekend where we sailed out to the islands down in the Indian River Lagoon to spend the weekend living a little 18th century pirate life. Now, this video is going to be a little longer than my usual ones because I'm covering all the food we ate, and I'm also going to share some of the fun stuff that we did while trying to keep it a period appropriate as possible. After we set sail and made it out to the island, the first thing we did was to get camp set up. There were these picnic tables out there, so that became our makeshift galley. I fasted that day and broke my fast at 18 hours with an apple. After that, the wind was still really good, so Travis and I took the sailboat back out. And honestly, half of what we did while we were pirating out there was just sailing around, and that was an absolute blast. I've loved learning to sail over this last year. Then, back at camp, I prepped some ship's biscuits for us to eat. I had made them earlier in the week. They are just flour, a little salt, and water, baked low and slow until they're hard as bricks. To eat them, we dropped them in water and waited about 15 to 20 minutes, and while we were waiting, I opened a bag of cuties and had one. Travis had some too and thought it was really good. We then started a fire to make some coffee. We used a percolator, and we got this coffee named Blackbeard's Delight, and we had to with a name like that. We set the percolator over the fire, checked it a few times, and ended up with a really solid cup of coffee. After the coffee was done, the ship's biscuits had been soaking long enough, so I ate that and it tasted like you would imagine, very plain. Later on, I had another apple and then started prepping dinner. First, I cut up the potatoes into big chunks and then sliced the carrots up. The camp was looking awesome at this point, loved the pirate vibes. Now, Travis had also gotten this pirate flag made for us with two skulls, one bearded and one with a mustache for each of us. And seeing that flying in the wind was really cool, and it really started to blow when the weather took a turn for the worse. Some rain rolled in, so we hung out under the canvas tent and played Pirate Roulette, a game that I had come up with. It was a lot of fun, and I had another cutie while we waited out the rain. When it cleared up, it was time to cook dinner. I had pre-cut and frozen the beef before the trip so it would thaw throughout the day. When it was time to cook, the meat was thawed but still cold, which was perfect. I mixed it with salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and some other seasonings in a bag. I poured olive oil into the pan and then seared the meat over the fire, trying not to burn the hair off my hands. Then I added some beef broth, the large potato cubes, and the carrots. Next came the ship's biscuits. Since they're hard as bricks, I pounded them inside a canvas sack until they broke into crumbs. Then those crumbs went into the pot to soften and thicken everything into more of a stew. After about 35 minutes, once the potatoes were cooked through, we did our first tasting. The beef, carrots, and potatoes were already really good, but we knew it would keep thickening as the biscuits broke down. At dusk, it was time to light the lantern. I found this period-appropriate tin lantern at a thrift shop while Carrie and I were on a date night. I'd seen them online for around $45, and I got this one for $25, so that was an absolute win. About an hour later, we had more stew. This time it had really cooked down. The potatoes were extremely soft, the flavors had deepened, and Travis brought a wooden plate and I had bought a pewter one that I had also found at a thrift shop. Eating it with a spoon was probably the most period-appropriate way that I could do it. Then I added a little bit of salt and pepper to each bite that Travis had brought in these little vials, and that really took it up a notch. The ship's biscuits, after cooking for about 2 hours, had absorbed so much flavor. They surprisingly became one of my favorite parts of the whole dish. Now, realistically, all those spices probably weren't super period accurate since spices were hard to come by, but using them made the stew turn out amazing. To end the night, Travis and I split a rum cake, which was just a great way to finish the meal and the day. And that was everything that I ate on our pirate camping weekend.